Getting ready for work? Don't worry, we got you covered.
This is Richmond's Morning News with Rich Herrera on News Radio WRVA.
6:33 this morning here on Richmond's Morning News. Good morning, everybody. My name is Rich Herrera. That is Super Dave Ayler. Gary Hess. Is Gary still over there?
I'm still here.
Hey, Gary, I'm going to put you on the spot here.
Okay.
I'm asking everybody this morning because we're going to have the lead singer from 38 Special
You can
on.
put me on the spot. That doesn't mean I'll answer it.
Okay. I know, but let me see if I can anyway. The people want to know, how awkward were you in junior high?
Oh, come on. I was Don Juan in junior high. Come on now.
Okay. I was a big old 12. I was a 12 on the scale of 1 to 10 in awkwardness.
This doesn't necessarily. No, I was kind of middle of the road, to be honest with you.
Okay.
Here's the cool thing about my middle school experience. I never had to be the youngest kid in middle school. In Chesterfield County, where I went to school, elementary school went through 6th grade.
Okay.
Middle school was 7, 8, and 9, and then 10 through 12 was high school. The year I went from 6th grade in elementary school to 7th grade, they changed it, and 6th graders started in middle school.
And they shifted it.
So I was only in middle school for 7th and 8th grade, and when I was 7th grade, the 6th graders were there too.
To be the kids that you sold elevator passes to.
Exactly.
Gotcha.
So,
okay.
Yeah. So it was kind of an unusual spot, but I it's so funny. I'm so old. I vaguely even remember middle school.
Oh,
all I
remember
know,
Mrs. Crackle, my
all I know
Spanish
is my mom taught at the middle school I went to.
Oh,
hold on. Not
okay.
while I was, she got that job moving from a different school my sophomore year in high school. My 2 younger brothers had to deal with that.
Oh, yeah. You can't do, if your mom works there, you can't do anything, can you?
No.
All right.
So she just heard stories about me.
Which might be worse.
Well, yeah, I guess, but whatever.
Okay. All right. So how awkward were you? Because we're going to have on the lead singer 38 Special. It's going to take me back to being very awkward in junior high and high school.
Oh, okay.
So it's going to trigger me. That's why I didn't want to do the interview. Dave goes, I don't care. Shut up. Talk. We're going to do the interviews. Okay. You're just bringing back my awkwardness of junior high school.
All I know is my mind goes back to that girl I met some years ago who told me.
Did you meet her in a corner in Winslow in Arizona?
Hold on loosely.
Okay, we better stop right now. All right.
Okay.
Gary's got news and traffic coming up here, news and sports coming up here in just a bit. I do want to update you on a story we had in the top 5. So just in case you're wondering, we now know what Donald Trump was raging about at the U.S. Senate the other day. So Rick Scott's come out and kind of spilled the tea, as the kids would say, on why Donald Trump was so fired up at the U.S. Capitol. And it was 2 things. Because the Senate had worked in a bipartisan way, Republicans, Democrats getting together on a couple of different things, and one of them was affordability when it comes to housing. Now, Donald Trump, though, threw cold water on top of it because he says, I'm not going to sign it. I'm not going to sign your bill. I need you to get the SAVE Act passed. And what are you doing with the War Powers Resolution, U.S. Senate? So the U.S. Senate, the Republican caucus, has a lunch, and they get together, and they all sit in one big meeting, and they kind of go through whatever they're doing. I've seen this in Richmond when they have the caucus get together. All the members go in there privately, and they have their little meeting, and they come back, and then they go into the chambers. The Democrats do it, Republicans do it. So they're having their, I don't know if it was weekly, but it was a lunch with all the U.S. Senate members. Donald Trump invited himself to go in there. Because you've seen John Thune out there going, I don't know if we can pass the SAVE Act. I don't know if we can do this. Donald Trump's like, I don't care what it takes. Blow the filibuster up. The Democrats said they're going to do it anyway. Blow it up. Let's get the SAVE Act passed so we can ensure integrity when it comes to elections. Because there's cheating going on left and right, according to the president. So they got together. He rolls in there, and it gets into a very, very heated argument. Casserly, who's going to be leaving the Senate, he was primaried out by a candidate that Donald Trump endorsed. He and the president at one point stood up yelling at each other, sit down, sit down. Very, very heated, the arguments in there. So we found out what they were arguing over. Number one, the SAVE Act, the president pushing as hard as he can to try to get some type of federal law to cover voter integrity. Do you need an ID to vote? Should you have proof of citizenship to register to vote? And a bunch of other things along that line. We'll talk about that later on the program. The big thing, though, that he was really upset with is we've seen these people in the House of Representatives, the Democrats repeatedly bringing up War Powers Act resolution saying, hey, all right, 60 days fighting with Iran, you need to come to us or we're going to cut it off. House has passed this a few times with some Thomas Massey's and some people like that voting to go along with all the Democrats, like 3 Republicans go on and it passes. The Democrats go, yes, this is bipartisan. Well, same thing happened in the Senate for the first time. Republicans, Rand Paul, I think Collins, Murkowski, and one other voted with the Democrats to call for the War Powers Act resolution, telling the president, you've got to come to us. If not, we're going to pull everything back. Now, it's really symbolic, and it's never gone through and gone to the president's desk. There's questions on how legal it is and the Constitution. It would end up in a court case. Nonetheless, the president really laid it on the Republican lawmakers in the Senate, like, what are you people doing? I'm trying to negotiate. I'm trying to negotiate a settlement to what's going to go on in Iran. I'm in the middle of an MOU. We have J.D. Vance over there. We have our negotiators over there. I've got Witkoff. I got Kushner. We're trying to negotiate with the Iranians, telling them, listen, you're going to open up the Strait of Hormuz. You're not going to charge anybody a tax to go through there. You're going to stop your proxies messing with everybody in the Middle East. And you're going to give up your Iranian period. End of story. Now, I said this in the very beginning, and this proves me right. Once again, that's why you wake up with Richmond's Morning News or you fall behind the rest of the day. What did I say since day one, David? What have I said since day one when it comes to all of this? I've said that if you're the U.S. Senate or the U.S. House of Representatives and you are undermining the president's authority in this, if you're undermining the military operations, if you're doing anything to breathe any type of hope into the Iranian regime, then you're helping them. You're giving them oxygen as they're gasping for air. As the planes are bombing and you have people over here protesting, what you're doing is you gave the mullahs and the Ayatollah and the IRGC, look, you know what? If we could just withstand this, the people of America will rise up and tell Donald Trump to stop. People looked at me like, Herrera, you have no idea what you're talking about. But now here you see it. Donald Trump just went out and said it. Is they're negotiating right now. What have you noticed with Iran? Iran's just getting more defiant every day. The more pressure they're putting on them, the more defiant they get. The more defiant they get, the more they're looking for somebody to breathe oxygen into that defiance. And when you have the news getting back to Tehran, and if it gets spun up 18 different ways, it's going to get back to Tehran like this. Look, the U.S. president does not have the support of the American people. The House of Representatives and the U.S. Senate both voted to oppose the War Powers Act upon this president. If we just hold them out to the midterms, he will be defeated by new members of the House of Representatives that will find just cause and they will stop this illegal war. That's what they're saying in Iran today. And I've said this since day one. Once the bombs start falling, our U.S. service members are in harm's way. We stop our politics. We get behind the military. We finish the job. Said that the day it started. I posted that the day all this started months ago. And I knew somewhere down the line that in the Senate and the House, the swamp of the Democrats were going to undermine this and they were going to undercut all of it. And right now, in the middle of the negotiations, what are they doing? They're giving oxygen to the mullahs in Iran. They're giving oxygen to the IRGC by standing there and having this meaningless vote in the middle of these negotiations. You want all the fighting to stop? The fighting has stopped. You want the planes to stop dropping bombs? You want the military personnel to stop fighting with Iran? That's happened during the ceasefire. But that's not good enough for you because this is not about whether you think the War Powers Act needs to go. This is not about whether you think the troops are doing the right thing. This is 100%. You will just stand in the way of this president no matter what he does. I'm telling you, if this president said, I love puppies and everyone should pet one, the Democrats would just walk around kicking puppies. If you don't think that's true, you were fighting to have you were screaming and yelling and protesting and the fighting stopped and to come to a peace settlement. He's in the middle of it. And what do? You're still trying to pull the rug out from underneath him. It is absolutely mind-boggling to see what goes on in the minds of some of these people at Capitol Hill. But anyway, that's the bottom line. That's why the president went up to Capitol Hill the other day and posted up the Senate. And they immediately went back, those members that voted with the Democrats. And by the way, the only sane one is John Fetterman, believe it or not.
1 minute to A+
Fetterman's
windows.
the one that crossed over and said, you know what, I'm not voting for this War Powers Act. Those Republicans came back. The War Powers Act was defeated after all. But again, what is it going to give? It gives oxygen to this Iranian RIGC, the theocracy, and the mullahs going, listen, if we just hold out, if we could just wait out to have Hakeem Jeffries or the Democrats become Speaker of the House, or the Democrats win the Senate, we can string this along until that happens. And if you don't believe me, look to see what just happened yesterday in the Senate with the War Powers Act. Were they acting by conscience or were they acting politically? That's what I'd love to know from you this morning. 833-804-1140. 833-804-1140, the number for you to join us here on the program. Today's show is brought to you in part by A+ Windows. A+ Windows, a locally owned and operated business, family business. My friend Billy Kane and his family runs it. Their kids go to school. Their grandkids go to school with your kids. They play Little League. They go to church. The people that work there are here local. They're not people that come in from out of town, try to sell you a window, and then boom, they're gone. You never hear from them again. Their big deal is we're not trying to sell you a window. We're trying to educate you so you know something a little bit about the window before you make your decision. Call them right now. Find out what they can do to help you improve the value of your home, decrease your energy bills, and do it in a nice, efficient way with no pressure. Here's the number, 804-303-4136, 804-303-4136, or visit them online at apluswindows.com.
Sprouting up this spring? Road construction,
All those orange barrels.
which will bloom into
Oh no, don't say it.
traffic delays.
As drivers looking for alternates or just stuck?
We'll have the latest on News Radio 1140 WRVA.
There are gifts people love, and then there are gifts